If you're a whiskey sour fan, you've come to the right place, because in today's video, I'm gonna show you 3 whiskey sour riffs that you're gonna love. Now make sure you stick around to the very end, because I'm gonna do a side-by-side tasting and give you my feedback on which whiskey sour I love. So the first whiskey sour riff that I'm going to show you today is the New York Sour. So this one was created in roughly the 1840s, and it was first published in 1862 in Jerry Thomas's Bartender's Guide. Went by a few different names around then, the Continental Sour, the Southern Whiskey Sour, but at the end of the day, it is a very, very basic riff on a classic whiskey sour. You've simply got the addition of, as they refer to it then, claret. Claret was a catch-all term for red wine, but today you probably most commonly use a Malbec, a Syrah, which is a Shiraz here in Australia. So more of a drier style wine. That works best in your New York Sour. And traditionally, it doesn't include egg white. But if you want to, you can. Completely up to you. Let's make the drink. So you can choose to use a bourbon or a rye whiskey. I'm using bourbon today. Measure out 2 ounces. Followed by 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice. 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Add ice and shake for 10 to 12 seconds. Next, double strain it into an old-fashioned glass over fresh ice. And the key to this one is the red wine float. So a small tip when you're trying to float something on the top of your drink, rather than using the back of the spoon, which is just going to run off quickly straight into the drink and potentially mix into the drink very easily, use the spoon this way. And it really slows down the flow of the drink. And when you finish that last little pour, then you can always tip the spoon and pour the remaining into the drink. Top your sour with an ounce of red wine. On to the whiskey sour riff number 2, the Betty Carter. This particular one was created by Jeremy Ertel, who's also the creator of the Bitter Mai Tai, so you know this one's going to be good. It was originally named after a jazz singer that was located in Brooklyn, New York. Let's get started on making the drink. Add 1.5 ounces of your bourbon whiskey. I'm using Few today. And then the sweetener for the whiskey sour is a PX sherry. So PX stands for Pedro Jimenez. It's a white Spanish grape that is used to make a sweet style sherry. So 1/4 ounce of Amaro Nonino, which exhibits flavors of orange, vanilla, and a little bit of clove. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Add some ice and give it a shake. And strain away into your pre-chilled coupe. I'm sure this one will taste better than it looks. And this last one is for all those whiskey sour lovers that love an egg white, that love that little bit of extra texture in their drink. The Filibuster. This one was created by Eric Adkins at the Slanted Door in San Francisco. And it's an autumn take on a whiskey sour, super subtle variation with the addition of maple syrup as the sweetener. Add 2 ounces of rye whiskey. Eric recommends something a little bit lower proof. The Wispig Rye, this particular one, sits at 43%. 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of maple syrup, and 1/2 egg white. Don't forget the dry shake. 5-8 seconds. And add some ice. And double strain this beauty into your chilled coupe glass. Oh, look at that texture. And very carefully add 4 drops of evenly spaced Angostura bitters. Then use a pick or a toothpick to add a nice swirly pattern. Riff number 1, New York Sour with a splash of claret on the top. You get the dryness of the red wine, and obviously if you stir this through a little bit, like so, it'll mix through a little bit more evenly. I actually quite like the whiskey sour without the egg white. It's just really, doesn't have that additional texture, but it's just smooth and it's easy to drink, it's vibrant. Yum. Riff number 2, the Betty Carter. I'm very much hoping that it tastes better than it looks. Cheers. You definitely get some of those raisin-like characteristics from the PX Sherry. A little more complexity in comparison to a classic whiskey sour from a Nonino. You know, those like citrus notes and the vanilla. Not bad. Rounding out my tasting notes with the Filibuster, the whiskey sour, with the addition of maple syrup. First thing you notice is the smell of the aromatic bitters. You get that clovey, nutmeg kind of spicy cinnamon characteristic, and that really nice sweetness from the maple syrup. So which whiskey sour riff is my favorite? It would absolutely have to be the New York Sour, hands down.